You're listening to the Mental Money Podcast, the show that shows you how to master your mind to maximize your money. This show is for people who love to watch their bank accounts grow while shifting their relationship to money. Without further ado, let's get these insider insights from today's leading expert. Awesome. So I'm with Nathalie, the business doctor, and I'm not talking about myself. This just happens to be another Nathalie who has the same name and spelled the same way, which is awesome. I appreciate that. Because
Very
you know
awesome.
the struggle, the Nathalie struggle.
Right. Definitely on the struggle.
So before I press record, you were telling me that you own a business and you just started another one. What's
Yes,
the new
I
business?
did. So the new business is called Links. It's positivity in the box.
Mm.
Um, Over the past few years, I've always been a spiritual person. I've kind of like not really put it in the forefront. And over the past few years, like this has been like a big thing in my life with helping me get through things, just being positive and, manifesting what I want. So I decided to create a business that was just about that manifestation, positive things. So basically in the business, I sell all kind of items that basically help your house stay positive and keep the energy great, energy within yourself, just very uplifting and positive items.
Oh,
And it's called Links.
I love that. Like link spell Links.
Lynx, and it's actually a
Oh,
constellation in the
okay.
stars. So that's why I picked Lynx. It's like an orange constellation. So the colors for the brand is orange to match the constellation. But yeah,
That's I think that's so dope.
I was something I was thinking about. And I'm like, like what, Natalie, this is. I said in 2020 I was just gonna go for whatever I wanted to go for with no breaks, just do what I want to do, and I just did it, and I'm loving it so far. It's fairly new, so we're just getting out there, but so far I love the feedback that I'm getting from everybody from it.
Awesome. So is it like a subscription service like every single month?
So it is it's a subscription
Okay.
service where every month you'll get something really cool, or you can just buy items that you want off the site. It's kind of like optional.
Mm.
Um, it does have a website. It's www.thelinksbox.com. So I give people the option of being able to subscribe or just buy items. But if you are a member, you do get 15% off like all the items that are for sale.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's a genius idea. And like I like how intentional you were about the product and the actual setup
I
of
got
the
some really nice stuff on there. I got higher than self soak. I got CBD stuff. I have all kind of
mm,
stones and candles for like intentions and prosperity and fertility, just all kind of things.
how well, okay, you know what? Let's backtrack a little bit.
Hmm.
So, you are in marketing, right?
Yes, I am.
And that's kind of one of the reasons, well, that's the main reason why I reached out to you because businesses need to market themselves. They need to be able to get in front of their consumer or their ideal consumer.
Hmm.
And outside of some of these business principles and marketing being one of the major ones, how much do you think your spirituality affects how you decide to market to a consumer? Or is there any influence at all?
It is an influence. It is an influence. I feel like my spirituality has a big thing. I feel like manifestation is very, very big. Um, and if you set yourself on something and you just stick with that one thing that you set yourself on, I think that's the most important thing. People get discouraged a lot with things, and if they put something out there and it's not working, instantly they just fall from it. But if you are what you put out, and sometimes things takes time. So if you're not giving your own product or your own idea its own patience, how you think everybody else is?
Mm,
So that's very, very big. Patience is big in any business. No business is going to just wake up overnight and become. I mean, there are some people that come to success, but they're like celebrities for the most part, or like this huge fountain who drops something and sells out the next day. But the
right,
average person, it takes time. Like
right.
everything, it comes with time. It comes with patience. It also comes with believing in yourself. If you don't believe in your own product, nobody else is.
Mm. So,
And I feel like belief shows, like confidence shows
mm.
a
So
lot.
no, I'm sure I agree with you. If you don't believe in your product, why should somebody else? I agree with you across the board, like 100%. So when you are creating your ideal client, you technically in the I'm trying to take the practical sense and make it also spiritual. But like when you
Hmm.
are writing out who your ideal client would be that would be attracted to your product or service in a marketing sense, from what I'm hearing you say, it seems like you are outlining that so you can manifest the person that would be attracted to what you have to
Hmm.
offer. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I know a lot of people start businesses and they don't really know who their ideal market is.
Mhm.
Everything isn't for every demographic.
Right.
And sometimes you might put something out there not quite sure who your demographic is, but then social media has so many tools now. that you're able to see like who's actually like watching your post, the age demographic, the race demographic, and everything. That way, when you create ads and do marketing, you make sure you market towards the people that are actually watching it, that
Right.
actually, would benefit to what you have. Like with the more spirituality thing that I'm doing now, I know my age demographic is more going to be more towards the millennials. I think they're more into spirituality, and it wouldn't be more the older people because they're more set on different principles on how they figure things out, especially with spirituality. I know that I know that certain people who are into more spiritual things, I kind of market my items, I hashtag towards that more group versus just
Mm,
making more a generalized thing.
got you. That makes sense. I had a question. I'm looking for the question right now. Someone sent me an email for a question to answer on the podcast. So I think it might be appropriate for you to answer it
Okay.
because it had to do with marketing or social media, using social media as a platform to market. So before I get into that question, what I wanted to know was, because I'm still trying to find it, what I wanted to know was, from your viewpoint, someone who has no idea, it's elementary for them, they have no idea who their ideal customer is. They know how they know the product and the service that they want to produce and what they want to see come
Right.
to life in the world, but they don't know who they're serving or what they're serving. How would you outline that for someone who's ambivalent or doesn't have any idea about what to do?
That's a good question. I I would say the best way to outline when you don't know who you're serving is to think about, write down who would benefit from your services. Like
Mm,
who, like if I was, who would buy this? That's the question. Who would buy this? Who
right.
would want this and who would need this? And then that really is your demographic. So I
So,
think more of a who and why
okay. And how would
and
you
what.
Yeah, right. No, that's very fair. How would you bottle that so that you can kind of break down the psychology of the person who would be attracted to this? Because I mean, as we know, we being like already into business know, like, if I'm setting up an advertisement or if I'm running a campaign, this campaign has to speak to the person emotionally,
Gotcha. Mhm.
mentally. It has to speak to that person's desires and their innermost needs for them to be able to click
Mhm.
on that post and want to buy the product. So how would you break that down to someone who doesn't know what to even look for as far as like the psychology of the client?
Okay. The psychology of the client. The best way I would say to break that down is, if you're, let's just say, for example, I'm gonna use Coca-Cola for example, because they advertise all the time.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever notice, Coca-Cola always has different ads for different demographics.
Right.
They have even ads for African Americans. They'll normally be African American characters that's playing, in the actual, commercial, whatever the case may be. And they'll play on, like, I seen a commercial recently for Coca-Cola, and it was like an African American guy, and he was like down south, more the
Mm,
southern roots. And he was there, and like, at like a southern picnic, and they're like, with family enjoying in the whole field and cooking southern food. So that touched on a more of a, someone that's more African American would see that.
right.
And they would notice that, and it would touch on the emotion of, the down south, we're rooted to, our southern roots,
Mm-hmm.
the down south effect, the family, eating the soul food, like that all plays to our emotion as African American. So using as an example, I would say like the psychology to basically be, once you kind of do the who, what, and why, and figure out, okay, who is this person? Figure out triggers that would trigger them, emotionally or psychology, and how would that play on them? And
Mm,
then when you do your actual ads, make sure your ads reflect that.
right.
If that makes sense.
And no, it makes plenty of sense. And at first, I had a very hard time kind of processing that truth that that is what you have to
hmm
do because I thought it was manipulative. So, could you speak to why it's not?
It's not manipulative because, again, everything isn't for everybody, and you guys seeing different things attract different people.
Right.
That's just how it is. There, something TV could be going, your TV could be on all day long, and only certain commercials will trigger you. You might hear them, but certain ones make you actually look like, let me see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't. Your TV could be running, but you don't pay certain things any mind. It might be those few words that might come on that will trigger you because subconsciously there are things in your brain that trigger you, that trigger your attention.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're doing marketing and you're trying to target your audience, you have to think about those triggers that would trigger them to notice things, because people attention span is very quick. You got one quick second to get their attention.
Yep.
So you have to make sure you find triggers that make them kind of say, "Hey, what's that going on?" or "What's that?"
Mm.
So it's not more than manipulative. It's marketing. I mean, sometimes marketing can be manipulative.
Can you give an example of a great marketing or ad campaign that you've seen that has been super effective, or maybe your own?
Hmm. What campaigns do I like the most? Let's think. I always like Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
I think Coca-Cola is very creative. They are.
Okay.
I think Coca-Cola's been around for a very long time.
Mm.
And I feel like they're very good with the seasons. They're very good with the different demographics that they market. They have advertisement for older people. They have advertisement for the younger people. Like, in the summertime, you'll see, like, maybe two old couples sitting in the porch drinking a Coca-Cola, sharing it. You know what I'm saying? Then you might see another ad with, young people on the beach drinking a Coca. Like, they know how to, like, market every single person. Like, they don't have a box they fit in, because Coca-Cola is obviously for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
but they make sure they hit every nose point of every demographic, so every demographic knows that Coca-Cola is for them.
Right.
So I love Coca-Cola ads. They're always nice.
Can you give me an example of an ad campaign or
I'm trying to think.
advertising that missed the mark completely?
Hmm. Who can I think of? I don't know. Probably the ones that I didn't pay attention to. My
True.
attention span is like really short. It is. Either you get my attention or you don't. So if there was a campaign that I didn't notice, it probably mixed the mark, because I don't you only get like one shot at me to even notice something. So if I
Mm.
didn't notice it, it probably didn't. I'm trying to think in particular who advertisement I really don't care for. I really can't think of nobody off the hand.
Okay.
But if I do, I have to think in my head, and I'll come back to that one.
Okay, no
Trying to
problem.
think who offhand can I think? I don't know. I know I don't like Popeyes. Oh.
But is it like a personal preference or you just don't like their
It's just,
marketing?
it's just, it's just. I don't like Popeyes. I just don't like. I don't like Popeyes ads. It just seems like it's the demographic. It's just for like solely like black people, and like we're don't do to eat fried chicken and everything. I'm not into the
Mm.
Popeyes thing.
So like they're kind of pandering.
Hmm.
Got you. I could see that.
I'm not a Popeye. Yeah, it's just like we're not gonna do to eat fried chicken, of course, but
Right. No, I could see that. So just from what you were saying, it seems like one of the elements two of the elements that I picked up on when you were speaking were that one, the ad should be creative as far as it being effective, and then
hmm
also that the ad should be creative enough so that it pulls somebody in,
right.
and if they have a short attention span, it should be engaging so that they, even if they do have a short attention span, it's like, all
It
right,
catches them
well,
right away.
it
Yes.
catches them. I want to know more about what this is. Even if I'm not going to buy it, I should still want to know.
Right.
Okay.
Um. It that definitely has to be. I think engagement is the even when you do social media posts too. I think engagement is the best part. People love to be able to like have a conversation, and even as a business owner too, when you're doing ads and you have like a following, I think it's okay to like if people are comment back sometimes. I
Mm-hmm.
hate business owners who get like a million and one comments and just don't say nothing back ever to people. Like, it's okay to say,
Mm.
hey, thank you, or people like to feel important. On my ads I always put, for my marketing ads, for me I always put like, marketing is making your customer feel smart. Like, that's
Mm.
the best. When your customer feels like choosing you or using your product or coming to you for whatever you're doing, that makes them feel smart. Then you hit everything on the nose. And
Got
you have
you.
to make your customer feel like what they're doing is the right thing by choosing you.
Right. No, that's a good point. And then they'll share with other people because they want to.
Right. Word of mouth is like the best thing. Yes.
Right.
People
Right.
love to feel important. They love to feel special. Calling your customer by their first name, knowing who they are, like all those things all make people feel like, I feel good about spending my money, especially when you have services that are like, that could be costly. You
Mm-hmm.
want them to feel like they're, this investment is worth my time.
Right. No, for sure. Is there a formula for kind of creating that engagement on, especially on social media? Because it's a little, it's a little weird to do that. You
It
know what I mean?
honestly, I don't really have a formula. To me, it's more like hit or miss, and that's what marketing is. Like, marketing doesn't have like no set rules. Like, if I put this out for sure, this is going to get me some clients or get me some traffic. It's like rolling the dice.
Mm.
You put something out there, and if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, you get back to the drawing board and put something else out there. Like, there's no proof that if I put this out and do it this exact way, I'm definitely going to win. Like, it doesn't work like that.
Mm.
It just
Got you.
works by trial and error. It just works by you being consistent, constantly, putting out new things. Some things just don't work.
I appreciate you saying that because for some reason people are always looking for a way to like make it make sense so that there's a guarantee, but there really are no guarantees. It's a risk, right?
Yeah, I mean, I put out posts before, and it didn't hit the nose. People weren't feeling it. I'm like, okay, nah, they're not feeling it. I gave it a little bit of time to see maybe if it pick up, and they're not feeling it. You know what? Let me. Sometimes it just might be me just redoing the post. Like, I put an advertisement out. Maybe the advertisement isn't catching them. I might just redo
Mm.
the whole advertisement over again. And this summer, it could be the same stuff I'm doing, but did a different look. and it might catch their attention this time.
Got you.
And then there's time where they just like, we're not feeling it at all. And it's like, back to the drawing board, let's do something else. Let's work on something else. And it's okay.
Right.
That's why companies have, a chief marketing officer. They have, a whole marketing, department, because they have to constantly keep coming up with new things, because sometimes things just don't work.
Right. Right. No, that makes plenty of sense. So my another question I have about social media, and I'm sorry I couldn't find the question, but the young woman was asking about pretty much ideas about using social media for your business. But one thing I noticed as far as marketing is concerned is that people kind of ride a trending wave in order to get
Hmm.
attention. How do you feel about using that system, and how can you maximize it if you like it?
I think riding a trending wave is not bad, because I mean, if it's working and it's getting you attention, do it. If it's helping your business, then do it. But you also have to be able to make it your own.
Mm,
You can take something and you can always recreate it to make it fit you.
right.
Um, I think the biggest marketing wave everyone kind of does Instagram is like the whole videos, and this whole informative videos. And I think I like the videos. I like the IGTV. I like the whole idea. But again, you have to make it unique to you.
Right.
So I mean, trends go. I mean, like, listen, everyone sells French fries, but everybody has a different way they sell their French fry. They have different, seasoning on their French fries. So it's okay to, follow a trend or do something that's similar. It's just making it your own. Giving it its uniqueness that makes it not seem so gimmicky or so like everyone else.
Got you. What I want to know for the most part is, are there any resources that people can use to kind of max out on their visibility on Instagram, because it's really loud right now?
They have a lot of nice apps that help you, design really nice ads. They have like templates for you. We can design like, ads. Being creative. I think being creative is the biggest part, exploring different apps and different things where you can kind of make your own ads. If you can't make your own ads, always come to me, of course, but no, just different apps where you can kind of create ads, be more creative and be yourself. Um, there's no really like, other than, paying for a marketer, no real shortcuts other than just really trying out different apps that offer, because they have so many apps now that help you with creating like, ads for your Instagram, ads for your story, helping you like make your videos be more visual and little effects to your videos. So I would like try out those different things
Mm, got
if
you.
you don't want to pay like an actual marketer, like, do your whole marketing plan for you. I mean, because everybody's budget is different, you know. Doing pay per click ads, they work as well too. But
Right.
again, with the pay per click ads, you have to know your targeted audience. If you do a pay per click ad, they will set an audience for you. But I always suggest to customize your own audience. But
Right.
again, you have to know who your audience is.
Mm. Is there anything on social media right now that you see that's not working, that people just still keep doing?
I really am not a big fan of hiring a comedian to do like your marketing for you.
That's so
I'm
funny.
sorry, that doesn't work for me. And I have clients who say, well, Nat, let me get so and so. And I'm just like, I just don't, I don't really, I'm not a fan of that. I don't think that's like, I just think it's too gimmicky having like a comedian, like, come in, and that doesn't make people buy. I don't know one person who literally got like a bunch of new, traffic or new clients off of a comedian, doing their marketing video for them or something.
Mm,
I just feel like it's not authentic. I just feel like all you have to do is just, sometimes if you don't know what to do, watch other like, big businesses that, have been in business for years, and watch how their marketing goes and their commercials and their ads. And you can kind of get a feel for like what makes sense.
right.
Because some things just don't make sense. I mean, a comedian is not going to make me want to go out and buy your product because this funny guy who has all these followers is like making a joke about it. Like, it doesn't appeal to me.
Mm,
And I
got
think it
you.
doesn't appeal to no demographic, because that's not like really for anyone, anybody of maturity. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna take that seriously.
Mm. Well, would it depend on maybe the product or the service, or do you think that's just across the board?
This is across the board. I'm just not a fan of that whole trend. I
Got
think
you.
it's dying down. I don't really see too many people really doing it anymore as much. At one point, it was like every time you turn around, someone, and even when people like pay for ads, like, on, the shade room and stuff like that, I get it, but at the end of the day, I think it's to a point now where everyone knows that you can pay to get an ad on the shade room. You can pay to get an
Mm,
ad on those things. So when someone puts it up, it doesn't really feel authentic anymore, because everybody knows they paid for that ad. At first it was something like, oh, but now it's like it's becoming a thing now where, you put like $1,000 or something, and they put you up for the day.
right. So, do you not like influencer marketing?
I do, but it's just certain people.
Okay. And the shade
It's
room
just
is
certain
the
people.
shade room's not one of them for you.
No. I mean, no, I love the shade room. No, no assault to the shade room. I just feel like you could be more creative in your marketing.
Got
Just
you.
be more creative in your marketing. Like, there's so many things that you can do if you just, open. I think that people are so just quick to just want to get like that risk, that big rush of customers that, some candles burn, slower and some burn faster. You know what I'm saying? And it's okay for your candle to burn slower. It's going to last longer.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you get more light. That's true.
Right. It'll last longer. Like, sometimes you got to organically just work things out. And then
So,
next thing you know, it just works.
if I wanted to hire an influencer, let's say, or I wanted to put up an ad on the shade room, um, or whatever the case may be, as far as social media is concerned, what should I be looking for as far as whether this person can actually convert this ad into sales?
I always say for influencers, I think you should find an influencer that actually like would use your product.
Mm,
Like that would actually like, if you're selling natural hair product, I definitely wouldn't go get an influencer that, wears weaves. You know what I'm saying?
right.
I would go to an influencer that wears natural hair, actually like engages in, natural products, someone that can really stand behind, what you actually have to offer. I know we're really big on followers and everything. And I've seen clients, go and hire an influencer and, pay them all this money to go ahead and because they have a bunch of followers to influence their product and no one even bought it or paid it no attention.
Mm. And why do you think that
That
is?
wasn't their target audience. Their influence targeted audience wasn't that. That wasn't who they normally, and people engage in. So you have to, if you're going to pick an influence, it needs to be someone that really can represent your product the proper way.
Got you. That makes sense.
I think you'll get the biggest out of your return. Because I've seen a lot of people, and a lot of influencers based on the fact that they had a lot of followers and it didn't really do nothing for them.
So metrics
They might have
matter.
got one or two sales, maybe, or a couple follows, but it didn't do what they paid. It wasn't worth what they paid.
Mm. So in this case, the metrics almost don't matter.
Um, no, I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, because when I try to work with some bigger brands, sometimes they're just like, well, what's your engagement? How many followers do you have?
Hmm.
How many people visit your page? How many like average views? And I'm like, well, that's not really always. It fluctuates, So
Right.
I don't even
It
know how
does
to
fluctuate.
I don't even know how to quantify that. But at the same time, like, what if I can still sell your product and not have to worry about all those metrics?
It's crazy. It could be a person who might have 500 followers. Let me be honest with you. But those 500 followers are very engaging.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They are, they're into what you have going on. And you might have an influencer that might just have that little bit of flower, but that 500 people actually believe in them and they're actually engaging in them. For the majority, most people who have tons and tons of followers don't get all that engagement from all. I mean, it doesn't work that way. Unless you're like Beyonce or somebody who gets like a million views and a million comments. But for the most part, the average person, they might have, 20K followers, but they probably only get engagement from at least maybe 9,000 out that 20K.
Right.
And that's just how it goes. So but you might have somebody that might have 500 followers and they might get engagement out that whole 500.
Mm.
So I wouldn't always base it always on followers because follower doesn't equal money.
Right. Oh
It
God.
doesn't equal customers. It just equals people that just hit follow. And sometimes they're not always organic followers anyway.
That's
So
true. Yeah.
you never know if they're organic or they're not. You know what I mean? So it should be based more on the integrity of the actual influencer and can it actually move your product. And they can move your product with their 500 followers and you get 500 more clients. That's a bonus to you.
Right. So you were telling me before I kind of segue into the marketing and advertising, you were telling me about the new project that you started. So how are you marketing your links box?
I've been doing some pay-per-click ads. I haven't really been marketing on my own Instagram page because it's kind of like been like a lightweight secret. So surprise, it's me. It's been a lightweight secret. But I do have an Instagram page for it. I've been definitely into hashtagging, and using hashtags that reference what the products I'm selling is about,
Mm-hmm.
and what the page is about. I've been following people that would be more inclined to be into what I'm selling. The new hashtag is Astro Babe. So that's the flow that I've been going through.
Mm.
The Astro Babe women that are more into astrology, more into stones and spirituality and saging. 'Cause I'm a sager. I love the sage. So I just been trying to like target more towards those people. When I do my ads, I make sure I put pay-per-click ads targeted towards those demographic of people, more to people that need more healthier lifestyle because they're more into spirituality too,
Okay.
yoga, everything. So that's what I've been doing for them. It's still new, it's been going on for like not even like a month now. Um, but I've been getting good reviews for it. I love it.
Okay, good.
So I
Well,
got some subscribers. I'm working on it.
good. First of all,
Mhm.
congratulations on your new business.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mhm.
Um, you said that you've been using a hashtag in order to gain followers or target certain people who might be attracted to your links box. Can you go into like what a good hashtag strategy is?
I always tell everybody at least 10 hashtags. At least 10.
Mm-hmm.
I would do hashtags that I mean for the five of them should definitely be some that not necessarily random, but it could be like a word. Like it could be a word like love, literally. And if you look at the love hashtag, it probably has like 1.7 million followers.
Mm-hmm.
So I would do some like generalized words that have a lot of followers, but also mix it in with words that also describe you. Like if you're marketing, business marketing. If you do hair, hairstyles, haircuts, different words that basically, you know, cater to whatever you're doing.
Right.
And I always tell everybody, like, well, how do you keep up with all those hashtags? So, iPhones, we have notes. So I always like copy and paste all my hashtags into my notes. And
Mm.
every time I'm about to post, I just go in my notes and, just copy and paste it right into my caption. So I don't have to sit here and think about what to post to get enough, and they're already in my notes all the time.
Got you. That makes sense. Could you tell me a little bit about your podcast? Does it have to do with marketing or advertising at all?
No, so my podcast is something like me just coming just me exploring who I am. I'm very, very Black power. I'm very in tune with, my Black culture. I love being Black. I love my Black history. I love everything about being Black. So here's the thing: is about the melon majority. It's about issues in the Black community. Things that's going on. We talk about all kind of things. We do like a thing called Black Light, where we highlight different Black businesses every episode.
Mm.
So this is not even marketing. This is just us, just talking about our community.
That's awesome.
I do the marketing for it though, but it's not about marketing
Okay, so
at all. And this is something new for me because I've never marketed like a YouTube channel before or a pod. Like I
mm,
never did this before, so this is me learning the different elements of marketing when it comes to podcasts and YouTube. And it's different from regular market. It's different.
right,
It's a different ball game, and I'm learning that it's a different ball because I figured all things the same, and it's not. And again, everything requires different types of approaches. So I'm still learning the approach to it, getting our followers on YouTube and everything. And for the most part, we've been successful so far. We're still working on, getting our subscribers up. But it's definitely a process with, the marketing for, shows and everything.
right. Of course, it's always a process.
It is I
Always
mean,
a
especially
process.
with times changing, everyone doesn't listen to the radio as much and everything as well too. So you have to be, it's a different challenge, getting people to actually go into a podcast because everybody has like apps on their phone. They can just play music all day long. No one
Right.
really wants to hear people talking as much as they used to. So it's a different demographic on how to like, get people engaged.
Mm. So, well, as far as your podcast has been, how have you been using your platform for engagement?
How have we been using our platform for engagement? I don't really know how have we been using our platform for engagement. We just really been trying to be more involved with everyone. Um, Everyone that we've done like Black Lights on, we try to be more engaged with them. Because right now we're fairly new, and I feel like being that you're fairly new, you try to stick around people that already know you and can kind of like word of mouth
Mm.
vouch for you.
Okay.
So all of our Black Lights have been on. I've used mostly clients that I've worked with or people that I know from my Black Light that I know for sure will post us. Will say, hey, they put me up, things of that nature so that we can get that engagement versus me,
Mm.
me going to someone I don't know completely. It's a chance they might even post me on their page. So my engagement and my technique for my engagement has been using people that I actually know for the word of mouth part. And once word of mouth spread, then everyone starts to come flocking like, hey, can I get on your show? Or, what's your show about? So right now it's more like word of mouth marketing.
One thing I realized in our conversation is that we've been throwing around the word marketing and advertising interchangeably, but I'm aware that they're different. So could you kind of explain for those who don't know what the difference are?
Hmm. So marketing, what would be the definition of marketing for me? I have like a book definition.
Okay.
Marketing to me is like your plan. Marketing to me is knowing who your demographic is going to be, having a strategy and an outline, knowing what you're like. Marketing is like the whole outline of what you want to do to promote your brand.
Mm-hmm.
Advertising is more of the content. more of the look for everything. Once you get your marketing plan together, how do you plan on advertising? What's the advertisement look going to be? How are you? I feel like advertising more of the look and marketing is more of the actual, like, factual outline of what things are going to be,
Okay.
if that makes
Right.
sense.
And you were talking about advertising as far as pay per click campaigns. What is, if for someone who wants to go through pay per click, they have a product that they want to sell, what would you say is the best route to go and do that?
I would try on Instagram, and Instagram and Facebook, they're sisters now. So I
Okay.
would try them first, to see how it works for you. Get a kind of get an idea of what an ideal budget for you could be. Some people start off with like $50, $20 to see just how it goes for them.
Okay.
But if they spend, $1,000 in the beginning, now if you have it to spend, do what you do. But for the most part, you're just trying it out. You could put an ad out for $100 the most, and just see how it goes for you. Go into the setting where it says, pick your audience and get a feel for your audience. But again, if you have an Instagram business page, you can go into your insights and go into the click that says audience. And in audience, it will tell you the age, location. It'll give you a good, range of your demographic.
Mm.
That way, when you're targeting, this age range, this demographic. And it also lets you target like keywords. So if you're selling, athletic apparel, I would use athletic apparel as one of my keywords for target people that, shop for athletic apparel.
Right.
So they do have keywords that you can just put in to, go to those market of people.
Mm.
But I definitely wouldn't use like the automatic one. Just go in there and play with it and learn who your demographic is.
That's
And then,
awesome.
see who's following you. Know the age group of people who are following you and who's actually engaging. Who's engaging? Is it younger people? Is it older people? Is it people that like this more? Like, kind of like analyze Instagram yourself and see, what's going on.
Right.
Yes, insights is like, that's like the key. I love insights. I think that was a good thing. And also, outside of insights, you can, like, if you post a picture or ad or whatever you're posting on your Instagram page, it'll say like view insights on there.
Mm.
And if you view the insights, you can see. So let's just say you only got like 100 likes per se. But on a view insights, it might say that your impressions are like 3,000. So
Mm.
don't base your traffic on your likes. 'Cause people might just not be liking it because sometimes people just haters like that. People just sometimes just don't like stuff. That's just how it goes.
Right.
But if your impressions are like 3,000, oh, people are seeing what you're doing. That's the most important part, that people are actually seeing it.
Mm.
So that
Got
means
you.
it's still effective. Don't base your likes on, okay, I only got 10 likes, but then you go into your insights, and maybe you got like 200 people looked at it, and you're like, well, wait. So insights is definitely important to see who's actually watching.
Right. That's very
How
true.
many people from the Explore page came to see you? How many people actually followed you from your like? All those things. And also to tell you, like, what's your best days for engagement? Like, what's your best time to post?
Mm.
I feel like posting in the morning is okay before people go to work and during lunchtime. Most people, they're getting off of work. They have children. They got to pick their kids up. So I feel like from 4 to 5 is not a good posting time for me because people normally are getting off of work. They're busy. They're not sitting there and looking at their Instagram page. I feel like after 7 o'clock is a good time to post too. By then, people have gotten home. They've gotten dinner prepared. They're sitting down. They're probably going through their phone. Just good times on where you think people will give you the most engagement.
Got you. And you call yourself the business doctor, which I love. So, if you had to diagnose someone's business, how would you go about doing that? And like, let's say you meet a new consumer, they're like, I need help with my aesthetics, I need help with brandings, I need to do a whole deck on fixing everything, my website, a whole overhaul. They need all types of help, doctor.
I've had that before.
Okay. How would you go about kind of breaking down not only what you're going to do, but then what the expectation is to the consumer? Because you have to manage your expectations too.
Right. For the most part, when someone comes to me like, Nick, I just need help all around the board. I call it a business checkup. I do a checkup. I check everything. I comb everything from website to social media to how they're posting, even to their customer service, how you're treating your clients,
Mm.
to their how are you doing your booking, how are you managing your financial records? Do you know what's coming in? Do you know what's coming out? Like, I find to comb everything, and I normally do an outline. And the outline, it starts from top to finish. What we need to work on first, and what we need to work on last. It itemizes everything. What you can expect from me. What do I also expect out of you? Because what I do is, even though I help people, with their business, I also teach them as I help them. Because I really feel like it's okay to, wear a bunch of hats, but you should be able to take them off and be able to put them back on if needed.
Mm.
And that's very important to me, being able to take that hat off and put it on. If you got to put it back on, give it out, can you give it out? So I don't just do a bunch of things for people and then they're like, okay, I offer the help where, I'm going to teach you how to do this yourself. So if you're ever stuck, you can be able to do this. And if you need help, you can always call me again. But I feel like you should always know how to run your business yourself too.
Right. Of course.
But I do an outline. And we just go from start to bottom and also figure out what their goals is, long term and short term. And I feel like your long term goal should be a reflection of your short term goals getting you to your long term goal. So we work on all those things, and I feel like I do good. All my customers I've had since I started are still my same clients. They're all still with me. So I feel like, I do meet their expectations to a good point. And, sometimes if I'm doing something and not feeling it, they can always tell me, I have to reroute sometimes, what, they don't like this and it's not working for them. Let's figure out, another plan on how to do things. And that's fine. That's normal. We're all human. We don't just come with like this whole thing where we just do everything perfectly. But for the most part, it's an outline and we just go over everything and we just go from there.
That sounds
And
good.
also their budget is important too,
Right.
People might sometimes have $1 million dreams and, don't have, the actual finances to, fund those dreams. So we have to be more realistic. So more realistic goals, that we can work on now to get us to the long-term growth, which might not be realistic to us right now, but if we working on these other things, we can get to that point.
Right. Okay. Okay, Doc. I'm not mad at
Especially
you.
finances too, because it's crazy. I meet a lot of people who have, that sell like, e-commerce businesses, and for the most part, they don't know what's coming in and what's going out. Most of the time, they don't even have business bank accounts, so all the money is going to the same place in their personal account. And when it's time to buy a product, they're spending their personal money versus not spending the business money because the business money got spent already because they didn't know what was what. So I feel like financial is a big thing. Knowing, how to manage your bookkeeping and, keep everything separate is very important because you need to know what's coming in and what's going out. What's your intake? Especially when you get like business loans in the future too, and and work on your business credit. Banks want to see that. They want to see P&L from. They want to know what's your profit and loss every month.
Right.
So having an accountant is definitely key.
Oh yeah, we had an accountant on last week, and she set us straight.
Yeah, I have an accountant too, and they do my bookkeeping. Shout out to TP Taxes. They do my bookkeeping, and they definitely keep me straight. I'm able to see what's coming and what's going out, and they also, hey Nat, you're spending too much. Don't, like they. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to have somebody that's overseeing your money so that you don't make the wrong mistakes, you don't invest in the wrong thing, or just all around the board. An accountant is very important. I know when people are first starting out, they can't afford an accountant. But, there are, accountants that are feasible, to what your business is bringing in. Like some accountants base their bookkeeping on, what's your actual, business, return for right now. If you're not making a lot, they can't obviously charge you, but so much.
Right.
But it's good to start off with an accounting from the beginning because you can see your business grow, and you can also tell your accountant, like, listen, this is my long-term goal. I want to own a building, I want to have this, I want to have that, and they'll make sure that you're planning your money out so that you get to that point.
Yeah, that's very true. You know what, Natalie, thank you so much for coming on today and kind of giving us an overview of exactly what we can expect in marketing. One thing I really appreciate that you said is that, it is a process, and that whatever you set out to market for or whatever you set out to advertise for is not going to work out all in one day. It's not going to happen tomorrow. You have to test it. You have to see what works. Clients might gravitate to what will work. Some clients might not gravitate to it at all. And just being patient through the process. And not only that, but believing in your product. And that's something I really appreciate you mentioning as well. If we wanted to get in touch with the business doctor, how would we do so?
Well, you can reach me on Instagram. I am Nathalie, Nathalie _ the business doctor. And my website is www.nataliethebusinessdoctor.com.
Thank you so much again for coming on.
You're welcome, Natalie.
Thank you so much for listening to the Mental Money Podcast. Please go ahead and remember to subscribe, but don't hoard all of this good information for yourself. Share this information with someone that could use it, especially if they need a shift in their mindset or someone who would love to have more money. So until we meet again, remember, like Uncle Snoop said, keep your mind on your money and your money on your mind.